What is Cambrian explosion? The Cambrian explosion refers to a relatively short period of time, about 541 million years ago, during which an extraordinary diversity of complex animal life forms appeared in the fossil record. Prior to this event, life on Earth was dominated by simple, single-celled organisms such as bacteria and algae. During the Cambrian explosion, however, a great variety of new forms of life evolved, including many of the major animal groups that are still around today. Fossils from this time period show the sudden appearance of creatures with hard shells, exoskeletons, and complex internal organs, including arthropods, mollusks, and chordates. Scientists are still working to understand the causes of the Cambrian explosion, but it is generally believed that a combination of environmental, ecological, and genetic factors played a role. The event is considered to be one of the most important events in the history of life on Earth, as it marked the beginning of a new era of animal evolution and the emergence of many of the forms of life that we are familiar with today. After the Cambrian explosion, the Earth's ecosystem continued to evolve and diversify. Many of the animal groups that appeared during the Cambrian explosion continued to evolve and adapt to their environments, giving rise to new forms of life. During the Ordovician period, which followed the Cambrian explosion, the first land plants and animals appeared. Marine life also continued to evolve, with the emergence of new forms of corals, bryozoans, and other organisms. Over time, major extinction events occurred, including the late Ordovician and Devonian extinctions, which had a significant impact on the diversity of life on Earth. However, many groups of animals and plants persisted, and new forms of life continued to evolve. In more recent geological times, the Earth has undergone major climate changes and geological events, including the formation of the supercontinent Pangaea, the breakup of Pangaea, and the evolution of the first mammals, birds, and flowering plants. The Cambrian explosion marked a major turning point in the history of life on Earth, as it led to the emergence of a wide range of new animal forms and set the stage for the further diversification of life that followed. After the Cambrian explosion, life on Earth continued to evolve and diversify, giving rise to new groups of animals and plants, as well as new ecological niches and habitats. In the Ordovician period that followed, the first land plants and animals appeared, including early arthropods and primitive fish-like creatures. During the Silurian and Devonian periods, fish evolved and diversified, and the first amphibians emerged. Later, during the Carboniferous period, reptiles evolved and diversified, and the first forests emerged. The Mesozoic era saw the evolution of dinosaurs, birds, and mammals, as well as the emergence of flowering plants. The Cenozoic era, which began about 66 million years ago, saw the rise of modern mammals, including primates and humans. Throughout this time, the Earth's climate and environment continued to change, and major extinction events occurred, including the late Ordovician, Devonian, Permian-Triassic, and Cretaceous-Tertiary extinctions. Despite these challenges, life on Earth persisted and diversified, with new forms of life emerging to fill the gaps left by those that went extinct. The Cambrian explosion was not discovered by a single individual, but rather by the collective efforts of many scientists over many years. The fossils of the animals that appeared during the Cambrian explosion were first discovered in the early 19th century, by scientists such as William Smith and William Buckland in England, and Adam Sedgwick and Roderick Murchison in Scotland. Over time, as more and more fossils were discovered and studied, scientists began to realize the significance of the Cambrian explosion as a major event in the history of life on Earth. In the early 20th century, the American paleontologist Charles Walcott conducted extensive excavations of Cambrian rock formations in the Burgess Shale of British Columbia, Canada, revealing a wealth of beautifully preserved fossils from the period. Since then, countless scientists from around the world have studied the fossils of the Cambrian explosion, and have contributed to our understanding of this critical period in the evolution of life on Earth. Some of the animal groups that survived the Cambrian period and are still around today include arthropods. This group includes insects, spiders, crustaceans, and other animals with jointed limbs and hard exoskeletons. Arthropods were one of the most successful groups to emerge during the Cambrian period. and they continue to be one of the most diverse and abundant groups of animals on Earth today. Mollusks. This group includes snails, clams, squid, and other animals with soft bodies and often a hard shell. Mollusks were another successful group to emerge during the Cambrian period, and they continue to be an important group of animals today. Echinoderms. This group includes starfish, sea urchins, and other animals with radial symmetry and spiny skin. Echinoderms were one of the later groups to appear during the Cambrian period, but they have since diversified and continue to be an important group of animals in modern marine ecosystems. Chordates. This group includes fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals, and is characterized by a notochord, a flexible rod, and a dorsal nerve cord. Chordates first appeared during the Cambrian period, and they have since diversified and become one of the most successful groups of animals on Earth. Overall, the animal groups that survived the Cambrian period were those that were able to adapt and evolve over time, and they continue to be important components of modern ecosystems.